Hello, Husker fans. Welcome to episode 248 of the Husker Football Fan Podcast. I'm Mike Harvat.
And I'm Justin Swanson.
In today's episode, we react to Nebraska's loss to Michigan State and look forward to Saturday's homecoming matchup with the Northwestern Wildcats. We also hear from you on the Runza reaction line.
You can find us on the web at huskerpod.com or by searching Husker Football Fan Podcast on Facebook. You can also connect with us on Twitter by following at HuskerPod or email us at huskerpod@gmail.com. This episode is brought to you by Central Nebraska Buffalo. Check out their website for their latest deals. That's cnbuffalo.com.
Also brought to you by Monte, Rohde with Pinnacle Realty in Lincoln. Looking to buy or sell a home in Lincoln or know somebody who is? Reach out to Monte at 402-770-3356. Well, Justin, with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I got excited because I could see what was happening. We were wearing down Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
And I called it. I said, we're going to win this game. And I believed it. I believed it.
Yeah, that was your mistake.
I thought this was the game, man. I thought it was it.
It looked good, but I was just like waiting for the other shoe to drop. The other foot to drop, whatever the phrase.
All they needed to do when the defense had that amazing 3-and-out after we scored, I was like, that's it.
All four linemen met at the quarterback.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was beautiful how well the defense responded in that moment, because I said to myself, I mean, like, how many times has Nebraska been in a situation where we finally get a leg up and then immediately score in like 2 seconds?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Like was it Iowa where we scored to make it a one touchdown, or Wisconsin last year, 2 years ago, and then they returned a kickoff.
Yeah.
And then it was another time that season, it was against Iowa as well. They returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Immediately. It just happens. And
we finally took that extra step. We got out ahead of it. The defense did their job. They buckled down. It was amazing.
Then the Connor Colt did his job.
Yeah. Yes. He was kicking well. Oh, boy. Here we are. Welcome to the Husker Pod, everyone.
Yeah, we were last night after the game. We were texting back and forth, like, "Do you even want to? I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk about this."
Yeah, yep. And honestly, I don't know how valuable it would be for us to talk at length about this one.
This was a game that we had won. Yeah, essentially.
Go listen to any of our other podcasts after a baffling loss. You can hear the same thing.
So
this is more like a therapy session tonight, I think, than anything. I don't know if I have much of value to contribute other than, like, as a fan, something has to happen in these remaining games. Something has to happen for me to have confidence in this coaching staff going forward. I'm just going to say it, man.
It's really, I think last night and even this morning, it's so, like, you just want to focus on the collapse. And that's really the big thing, the lead in the story, if you will. But once you get past the lead, I mean, the second sentence, or maybe second paragraph at least, has got to be a dominant performance by the defense.
Yeah.
I would say adequate for the most part performance by the offense up until the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Against a pretty good defense. And special teams were still a problem up until they were a complete disaster. But it was a very, if we had pulled this off, we would be ecstatic today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that and I think that's part of the reason why we're also angry and upset, is it was almost a program-defining, trajectory-altering victory. And then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. So, every week I've had an opportunity to retweet what I said on August 28th.
Yeah.
Are you coming on board with me about getting a special teams coach?
I saw, maybe it was, I can't remember who it was on Twitter today, was saying, hey, let's throw like double the money at Iowa's special teams coach.
For
And
real,
so just
though.
get over here, man, because there's been a lot of stories in the last couple weeks about how they went from nothing to amazing in special teams. I think Bizarro Max was talking about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I'm looking at the rest of our schedule. Northwestern, Michigan, Minnesota, Purdue, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa. Who of those teams would be acceptable in your eyes as, okay, we're back on track if we beat them?
I don't want to have that conversation. I mean,
I do.
I think that we have to take this season for what it is. I think that coming off of last night, plus the Oklahoma game before it, you got to say even the season as a whole, we have a Big Ten defense. We have a good senior-led defense. And a comment Frost has made, it's an old defense. So obviously it's a senior-led, but when the seniors graduate, you're not plugging in true freshmen.
Yeah.
The defense, it might not be elite. The statistics don't have it as a top 10 defense. We're not there yet. But the defense has crawled out of the gutter. Mm-hmm. The defense, we have a Big Ten defense that will keep us in every game. I think the one thing I think is you read through that schedule is I feel a lot better about the opponents now that we're, like a third or a quarter of the way through the schedule, because a lot of those teams are not as great as we thought they were.
True.
So
True.
I do feel more confident about all of it. I think we have a Big Ten defense, and like Northwestern, who we're going to play next week, we have a defense that's about good enough to drag along a crappy offense. Really, if the special teams were average, we would have a good Big Ten team. We have an exceptional or a really good defense. I don't want to say exceptional. We have a good defense, an average offense that can at times be explosive. And if we just had that average special teams play,
Yep.
we would be in great shape to compete for the division right now. Right now. Even the Reddit Twitter handle that we enjoy following, they just love to bash on us.
Oh my
But
gosh.
today they tweeted, in a different universe where there was even 3 different plays, Nebraska would be the only 5-0 team in the country right now.
Yeah. For real.
So, objectively, we are so close.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
But
one of the reasons.
That's
one of the reasons it's so awful right now.
Frustrating. I'm sure he's not the first person, or he won't be the last person to make this observation, but our friend on Twitter, Brandon Kavanaugh, he retweeted, somebody had quoted Frost saying, at the end of the game, he said something along the lines of, like, at that point in the fourth quarter, more bad things could happen than good, right? And he just retweeted that, kind of quote tweeted it, and he added the comment, "No fear of failure indeed." And that for me is why I'm starting to wane a little bit on the way things are going, because come on, man, you got to play to win. And I didn't see that happen last night. It was, I wanted to pull my hair out when they did nothing with, 47 seconds, 2 timeouts. They just let it go. Try to even get in field goal range. I don't care if you try like a 55-yard field goal. I mean, why not? He's missed enough. Why not have him get a shot at some type of redemption arc in this game?
I feel the frustration, and I've seen a lot of people frustrated about it, but I also can empathize with Frost because, well, first of all, as we've established on this podcast, like the Frost kind of changed a lot of things after the first couple of years in the Big Ten. Not to say he's still not like no fear of failure guy, but it kind of does feel like he's like, no fear of failure, that works in the AAC. Maybe we need to have a healthy fear of failure or yeah, so
see, for me, the issue here is it's not necessarily the adjustment. It's just it just is baffling that they were playing not to lose at that point. That's what it was. They were riding it out.
Well, they were playing to get to overtime.
Yeah.
Because here's what I understand that. Like, Mike, how many insane things have we seen happen to this team in situations that we thought were safe? Like, we've seen so many, and we had just seen one like 10 minutes earlier in real time.
So there's no guarantees, so why adjust?
Well, I just feel like...
Why play so guarded? I hear what you're saying.
Well, I mean, you look at the 1 minute we had left against Oklahoma when we were trying to do it, and we had like 3 sacks in 4 plays.
Yeah.
Granted, we had timeouts here, but you think about a 55-yard field goal, there's a chance he doesn't get it all the way, and then you have like a kick return situation. You just can't trust our special teams at this point. Your punter like did the thing that you do. Like, did he have money on the game? Like, I'm sure he didn't. I'm just kidding. But like, could you think of a worse thing to do to a team than to send all the defenders to the right, not even line up anybody to the left, and kick it left? Like, you can't think of a worse thing to do. That's like, I want my team to lose. And I know he didn't. Of course not. But I do think that one thought I've had is that Frost really likes to scheme, and he likes to come up with creative and clever things. And I think the Big Ten doesn't reward creativity very much. The Big Ten rewards consistency and grit, and we've got a defense that's there. The offense, it's too reliant on Adrian. People flip out about Adrian Martinez, but it's like, he's the only reason we're in the position to have our hearts broken.
I was kind of ticked off at Twitter last night. During that game, everybody was singing Adrian Martinez's praises. Oh my gosh. Like, for 59 minutes of that game, he is the best quarterback that Frost made the right decision. I guess after 4 years, we're finally seeing the fruits of all that investment, and wow, he's a great quarterback. He's carrying this team, and yada yada. Like, everybody's just loves the guy. And then we get to overtime. It falls apart, and then immediately people come out of the woodwork saying, like, I knew it. He's not the guy. We need somebody else. Okay, guys, at this point, he is our only chance. Smothers is like, if Smothers went in and stayed in, there's no way that we won that game. Like, I just don't. I don't think it's happening. Look at all the crazy things, all those crazy passes that Martinez completed during that game. Smothers wouldn't have been able to do that. There were things that Martinez was doing during this game that I don't think anybody else playing for Nebraska could do right now.
Yeah. He will do things that frustrate you, but he makes up for it in the incredible that happens from time to time, and his ability to extend plays that nobody else has on the roster. And the offensive line is a liability at this point, and we've got some pretty good talent running downfield, but Adrian has to like scramble like a madman to get it away, but he's not perfect, but nobody is. So anyway, we're in agreement here. Without Adrian, we wouldn't have been in overtime without Adrian. I thought that so we talked a little bit about defense. We've talked about offense here. Special teams is just the conundrum of the season, and there's been like a different mentality for it every year. Like, the first year it was like, we want to get starters in there. We want to have starters compete, and they ended up using like walk-ons, and then that didn't work, and then they've transition to more senior guys, and then they had an analyst, and now they've got a coordinator who's got other roles. So it's evolved every year on the coaching end of things. And the second year we had 6 guys attempt field goals, and we've had different punters. It's gone back and forth. And I think Brian Christopherson asked a really good question at the press conference last night, which was, what can you do now? Like, is there anything you can do now to make a noticeable or significant change, I'm paraphrasing, in special teams? And I think the problem with the season is I feel like so much of that is baked in at this point. Like, I don't know what switch you flip this week other than
bringing in somebody completely different.
Yeah, and I feel like any dramatic change comes with almost as much risk as it does reward.
Yep.
And so maybe with Cherney, you just don't have him do directional punting anymore. So I missed a lot of the game, and we can talk about that in a bit, but I saw the 7-yard punt. I didn't follow much around it, and I think that led to a field goal, right? And I'd rather have a short field that leads to a field goal than a kick return for a touchdown because, let's just have Pristip do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cherney can practice like crazy, and Lord willing, one of the teams on our schedule is an absolute mess, maybe Northwestern, and we can get some backups in or something but I just say we're done with him.
Yeah.
It was one thing to ride with Connor Culp, the reigning All Big Ten kicker of the year, but you don't need to have an experiment anymore. I had this really great metaphor this morning, and it made so much sense to me as I was thinking about it, and now I'm not sure I can make it make sense again. But have you heard of the elephant and the rider? I don't know if it's a metaphor or what. Have you heard of that?
No, not at all.
It's the idea that it's like the subconscious versus the analytical mind. And so your subconscious is what's like baked in. It's basically like who you are, and it's the elephant plodding forward. And then the rider is like your brain, like trying to think of stuff and make decisions on the fly. And you think you're making decisions based on the factors, and you're making a decision. But the reality is it's really hard to turn the elephant. So you think, oh, we need to go left now, pull left, but it takes a while. And I feel like special teams are just like that. You have these notions week to week, and we got to make some changes, but the elephant isn't going to be moving that fast.
I've heard similar metaphor with turning a cruise ship. That's probably one that you've heard as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the elephant and the rider, I looked it up here. The elephants, they're irrational, driven by emotion and instinct, and the riders, they're rational.
Yeah, sounds like a bunch of...
It's not like Myers-Briggs or something. No, it's just like the idea that...
Yeah, it's a decent analogy. Yeah.
We think we can make really informed decisions that are pulled away from the emotional background, but the reality is that emotion drives... The irrational drives that's who we are.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, I just feel like the special teams are just an elephant, and it's like running down Nebraskans. We're just getting trampled, and we're screaming, "Stop the elephant!" Now I'm really taking the metaphor in a different direction, and that's just what the off season is. The off season is when you train the elephant, and you're like, no, the elephant needs a new left leg to be the punter, And, Dawson has been leading that effort, and he's working with the players he's got. It's so fun. It's so funny in like an insane kind of way to hear Scott. It's almost not fair to have him do a press conference right after a game like that, because you're so emotional. Like, I don't know how you can say anything that could be construed as thoughtfully analytical, but he says one thing and he immediately contradicts it. Like, are the players got to be sick of it? Well, are there any players in there who aren't sick of it? No, they're all sick of it. Okay, so they need to be more sick of it. And then talking about I totally just lost my train of thought. Deep breath here. All that to say, there's no quick fixes. The defense is good, and they know how to coach a defense. The offense elements have come along, others haven't, and we got to figure out special teams for 2022.
Yeah, man, we could use a bye week, couldn't we?
Yeah. Well, hopefully Northwestern can be
considered.
Yeah.
Man, why is this game at 6:30 at night?
I don't know.
That's weird. Maybe we've become a sideshow for everybody on Saturdays.
That could be.
How are they going to find a way to lose tonight?
Watch tonight's car accident.
Gosh. There will be at least some... There will be some comfort in beating Northwestern. Not to put the cart before the horse here, but if we can beat Northwestern, I think we all can kind of take a deep breath, shake things off, and kind of say, okay, how can we salvage the back half of the season? And also, how can we get 3 more wins
Right.
to become bowl eligible. That's the only thing I care about at this point.
You're saying assuming we beat Northwestern?
Yeah. So if we beat Northwestern, we'll still need 3 wins after that. So Purdue, that's just what I want to see happen. I've been talking, preseason, I was talking about how I want Purdue to be a team that we can finally kind of say, like, okay, this is a team we can start expecting to beat. I'm sure Purdue fans won't want to ever hear people say that, but and then Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota lost yesterday.
Yeah, ugly.
And then put the cherry on top. Let's beat Iowa. There's our 4 wins. I don't know, man. Whatever. Let's. I'm getting ahead of us, like way ahead of us. Let's just talk about Northwestern. Wait, nope.
Phones, man.
Yeah, here. But I'm getting way ahead of us here. Let's go to the phones. We got some calls from folks last night. Actually, some surprisingly positive phone calls. So I think tonight we're gonna go ahead and play them all.
All right, let's roll them.
So first up is a short and sweet call from Dave in Carroll, Iowa.
Dave Wagner, Carroll, Iowa. Bo Pelini was let go for not winning the big games. Not saying Scott needs to go, but he needs to work on the fine things to get it done. Thank you. Bye.
Dave, I hear you. At this point, I'm kind of wondering what are those things that Frost needs to do to get it done. I mean, at this point, they just need to win these games. Like the game last night, that's a game we need to win. I don't know what you got to do to figure that out, but yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Justin?
No. Short. I don't know if it was sweet, but it was to the point.
True. But I mean that is I think it's at least fair to bring that up because that is a metric that we used when we were judging Pelini when we let him go. So
yeah, I think collectively we didn't like Bo as much as we like Scott.
Yes,
because he wasn't one of us. All right, let's keep moving.
Yep. So next is Alex from Philadelphia.
Hey guys, this is Alex from Philly. I don't know if you guys are fans of the movie Office Space, but if I were sitting in front of Greg Austin, I would plainly ask him, what do you think you do here? Because it's been 4 years and I have not seen a single bit of improvement from the offensive line other than the huge caveat of Cameron Jurgens finally getting his wild snap issues under control. Just penalty after penalty at the absolute worst time, and it's just frustrating doesn't begin to describe it. So, it's just the same song and dance every week, it seems, and, I'm tired of moral victories. I'm just tired of moral victories, and I hope more Husker fans feel the same. I love the program. Everyone loves the program, but at some point, it's just, we got to think about cutting bait here or making a change or two. That's all I got. Can't wait to listen to the podcast. Hope you guys are doing good. Thanks.
Yeah, you're starting to see more comments like these regarding assistants, and I feel that Greg Austin receives a lot of this comment on social media because the offensive line's performing poorly, and so yeah, when the group that you coach is performing poorly, I guess that's fair. You get more criticism. Cameron Jurgens is someone who, as Alex is saying here, started early on and has progressed very well to becoming a dominant player. And I don't know. I feel like the guys that he has developed for 3 years, like Cameron Jurgens, are playing pretty well. I don't know if Cameron jumped off sides. Did he? I don't know. Maybe he did. Everybody else did. Yeah, everybody else did. So...
Well, that's the frustrating thing, too, is it wasn't just one guy that they could take out. Yeah. It was like the whole line was doing it.
Yeah. Ugh. But all that to say, it's coming. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it means firing people. It probably will in some places. I don't know what that... I mean, I don't have any knowledge or I can't contribute to that competently, so I'm not going to speculate. But, what I would love to hear in the offseason next year is some explanation of here's what we're doing differently this year to ensure that X, Y, and Z doesn't happen anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see some kind of objective and like tangible explanation of here is something we're doing differently.
Or, here's what we did with the defense over the last 4 years that got us to the place where we're, maybe nearly a top 25 defense. The defense would be better if the offense wasn't so poor. And here's the things that we did that worked there. And here's the way that we are a few years behind, but making similar strides. I don't
Sure.
know. It might be apples to oranges, but just showing like the plan. A little bit of justifying your paycheck kind of deal.
It was kind of funny. I felt like maybe the defense was jealous of all the attention that the offensive line was getting, so they decided to jump off sides a couple of times. Anyway, here's Jeremy from Minnesota.
Hey guys, love the podcast. This is Jeremy in Minnesota, Vegas Jer on Twitter. You can tell my voice is a little gone from screaming at the game. But hey, just wanted to say I found a lot of positivity last night in the game against Michigan State. Defense was unbelievable. Man, I feel so bad for those guys. They played awesome. And our offense, we're not doing it in the red zone, but we're doing it everywhere else. So I'm really positive. Would love to know your guys' thoughts on who our bell cow should be going forward at a running back. Man, I like Ramir a lot. Would love to know your thoughts. Love the show. Have a great day.
Thanks for calling, Jeremy. No judgment on the voice issues there. I understand it completely. Take care of yourself, though. A lot of hydration this week. Don't talk unless you need to.
Mike has experience with vocal injuries.
All right, yep.
I guess not a laughing matter, so I don't mean to make light of it.
No, it's okay. I'm the one that went there.
Ramir Johnson, 19 carries for 76 yards. It looks like he's the bell cow. I mean, the next highest rushing total is Sevian Morrison, 3 carries for 15 yards. So it looks like it's Ramir's show.
Yeah.
Another game with Step had 1 carry. And I don't remember when it was. So basically another game without Step. It seems to be it's the Ramir show. So whether or not he should be the bell cow, I trust their judgment.
He had some sneaky runs. I was okay with him being the guy last night.
I mean, a 4-yard average, that's great.
That's all you could ask for from a running back, yeah.
I mean, that's the minimum you could ask for.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is if you hand it to him and most of the time he's getting 4 yards, that's all you need to get a first down. You know?
Yeah, okay.
So,
we were on the same page.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for the kind words, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I do appreciate some positivity in the voicemail inbox this week. So, yes, thank you, Jeremy. Up next is a familiar voice to both Justin and I. Or is it to me and Justin? I hate it when
Justin
people say,
me?
yeah, Justin and me. I hate it when people do that in written form. It looks so awkward when you're not the subject of the sentence and you write and I. It's like, come on. I know you learned that in the first grade, but think a little bit. So anyway, here's Dan.
Hey guys, this is Dan from Moline, Illinois with my daughter Naomi. She has a message for you guys.
Go Big Red.
She said go Big Red, of course. My only thoughts are I tweeted at you guys that you guys should have won by a solid touchdown. That's no problem. I stand by that. I think that punt return for a touchdown was a fluke. But you guys are definitely the better team. Not much of a college football watcher myself, but I had a good feeling about this game, and it just ended stupidly, obviously. You guys are a better team than what happened, so don't let it get to you. Hopefully it goes better next time and you guys finish it off better. All right, bye-bye.
Hey, Dan, thanks for calling in, and thanks to Naomi for being a lady caller to the show.
Hey,
we called for that. You called for that last week, and so it came to pass. So you guys will definitely get a free Runza combo coupon as per Mike's commitment last week. Mm-hmm. But I think the word fluke is probably, I mean, that's a good way to think about it. It was not the design in any way. It just was an accident. And it's a problem when you have fluky things every game. And that's why we keep losing. Mm-hmm. But
makes me think of the Pretty Little Pet scene in Tommy Boy.
Remind me.
Where he's like, this is why I suck as a salesman. it's like my little pet, and I treat it nice, and then I just grab it, and like he just destroys it because he loves it so much. He ends up he doesn't know what to do with it, and he ends up just letting it fall apart in his hands right before his very eyes. But
yeah, I love it. I love my little naughty pet. You're naughty. And then I take my naughty pet and I go. Oh! I killed it! I killed my sail.
We literally love this program to death.
Yeah.
I mean, we love it so much that it's crumbling under the weight of our collective angst. I don't think that's actually happening, but
yeah, no.
Anyway, thanks for the call, Dan.
So thanks again, Dan. And as Justin had mentioned, we will certainly send. I think Dan he earned himself a free Runza coupon, and Naomi also earned herself one. Let's send them two.
Two for.
And then also just because in the spirit of maybe lifting spirits. Too redundant. I think that Jeremy earned himself one as well tonight. He went to the game. He screamed his heart out. I think that should be rewarded. He also had some positivity in his voicemail, so I appreciated that. So yeah, congratulations to Jeremy, Dan, and Naomi.
And Mike, I need to get these things mailed out. I've got a running list of people and their addresses. And in the past, I've mailed these out every week, but since these coupons are literally good through 2027, I don't feel quite the same urgency.
Maybe on a bye week we can get them mailed out.
I'll get them to you guys. Don't worry, they're coming. Except for the one who did not leave. We haven't connected. Should I say who you are? I need one of your addresses. If we said on the show that we're going to give you a Runza combo coupon and you have not interacted with us, go check your email and your text messages. Or your text messages, because or maybe DM us on Facebook or Twitter, because
otherwise I'm going to take it,
Yeah.
When there's a surplus, your coupon by the Iowa game, or it becomes Mike's coupon.
Ooh.
All right. So anyway, hey, speaking of games in the future, how about we start talking about Northwestern?
Sure. Let's do that. Okay. Overall, SP Plus Northwestern is lowly 82. Their offense is 108, defense 33, special teams 94. So,
but that's still better than us
in special teams. Yeah. Hunter Johnson is the quarterback they've ended up rolling with the most. He was a former 5-star recruit he went to Clemson before coming to Northwestern, and things have just not gone well for him. He's 45 of 75. That's a 60% completion percentage, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 7 sacks. So I don't know if we'll see him or not. Their rushing leader is Evan Hull with 478 yards on 63 attempts. That's a 7.6 yard average. So that's, a healthy average, but it's buttressed by a long rush of 90 yards, which I'm sure helps with his average, but 7.6 is still really good. 4 touchdowns. He's the leading ball carrier by far. When it comes to receptions, they kind of have a pair that's getting the most catches and yards. Stephen Robinson Jr., or Stephen maybe, 15 receptions, 193 yards. It's a 12.9 yard average and a touchdown. Bryce Kurtz, 16 receptions, 193 yards, no touchdowns. Trey Pugh at tight end has 6 receptions and 2 touchdowns, so got to watch for that release there. Charlie Kubonder is their primary kicker. He's 10 of 10 on PATs, but he's only 4 of 7 on field goals, 57.1%, including a miss from the 20s, a miss from the 30s, and a miss from the 40s. So probably a big reason why they are 94th. I feel like field goal kicking plays a big part in these numbers. Their leading tackler is Chris Bergen with 33 total tackles, a half a sack, an interception, and a forced fumble. So a pretty active guy from linebacker. Their sack leader is Jeremy Miser, off the D-line with 3. He's also got a pass defended and 9 total tackles. They have a few guys, Brandon Joseph, Bryce Jackson, Chris Bergen, all have an interception. Brandon returned his 26 yards. So if you look at their schedule for the season so far, they started out with a season opening loss, 38-21, hosting Michigan State, who we're familiar with now. Michigan State's 30th overall. They beat Indiana State, I think an FCS team, 24-6. So nothing special there.
Yeah.
Then they lost to Duke 30-23. That's Duke is 78th overall. And then they beat Ohio, no longer the Fighting Frank Soldiers, 35-6. And Ohio is 113th overall. So this is not a good team. Ryan Hilinski actually was the quarterback in this Ohio game that they just won 35-6. So not Hunter Johnson. I think Hunter Johnson's done, especially after that Duke loss. He had a really rough day. I read a few thought pieces from Northwestern fans that were it was pretty doom and gloom for poor Hunter. So 5 stars he was once, but no longer. Ryan Hilinski sounds like he'll be the guy who's under center when they come to town. He was 12 of 20 for 88 yards passing last week. Evan Hull ran for 216 yards on 22 carries, and that's when he had the 90-yard carry for a touchdown. So, I think we match up really well against that because we just faced a Michigan State team that we shut down when people were starting to talk about their running back as a Heisman candidate. Mm-hmm. We shut it down. We didn't even talk about that, really. We shut him down. So I really like how we match up against this offense. When we talked to the Inside and New kid this spring, remember how confident he was? He was so confident. I don't mean to make fun of him, but he was just really confident.
Well, it's the off season. You're a homer. I get it. It's okay.
But
Northwestern fans in general can maybe be a little bit overconfident in their team at times.
Well, some of them can. I don't know. It's a weird history. Nebraska Northwestern games are always uncomfortably close, but maybe we just got that goofy loss out of our system. If there's one thing to say about Frost, it's that he doesn't win the close ones. He either loses or he blows you out of the water. When it's close, he tenses up, and we haven't scored any points. Someone tweeted at us last night, and I think it's right, that they didn't think we'd scored any points in overtime in the Frost or Riley era.
Yeah, I saw something that the last time that we scored any points, I think Sean Callahan tweeted that it was a game in 2013.
Was it Kenny Bell against Iowa?
Probably. I don't know, man. I don't remember
anyway,
stuff like that.
all that to say, I feel like this team's going to come out. Our team is going to come out pissed next week.
They do seem to be undeterred. That's one thing I will say about this team is that at least from what I'm seeing and hearing from the players from week to week, like even if all of Nebraska gives up on this team, which they won't, but even if everybody turns their back on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they actually do seem to have a little bit of mental toughness this year that I haven't seen in previous years.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know. I mean, it's still a 33rd defense in the country, so we're not going to blow them away. They'll show up, and they might even have some defensive points.
Yeah,
they'll be scrappy, and they always play us tough. But I don't want to say we won this one convincingly because there's no reason to say that. That's a foolish thing to say at this point in this season, in this tenure of Scott Frost, but I feel good about this one.
Especially with it being a home game. ESPN's got us at
night game.
Yeah. ESPN's got us at 78.9% chance of winning, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Their magic numbers have us winning 8 out of 10 times.
Oh. Well, all right.
If you run it through the Madden simulator.
Do they have a spread?
Yeah, but I don't care.
I'm curious.
10.
Okay. Yeah, I think we cover that. I think the defense and offense play so that Northwestern, so that our special teams don't have a chance to make it doubted. I think you see a
That'd
team
be
on
nice.
fire.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I would love to see this team just, I hate to say it this way, take out all of their frustration on Northwestern this weekend. That'd be great.
Yeah. Take out a few years worth of Northwestern.
Clean, though. Play clean, though.
Sure,
I don't want them to do anything stupid, but...
No mercy.
Exactly. Run up the score if there's a score to be run up.
Yeah, we're remarkably confident in this moment for what just happened last night, but I feel good about it. I do.
I mean, like you were saying, though, change a couple of variables over the last few weeks. This is a much different storyline for 2021.
And we're riding sky high.
Are we, Justin, are you and I coming around to the conclusion that this team actually is improving?
I do think so. I think they're improving in a lot of different facets. And, even my dad texted me talking to a friend at church this morning that his friend was saying that's the most encouraged he's been by Nebraska in a long time.
It's a good point. Yeah, if this game happened in the midst of winning a whole bunch of other games, we'd be upset, but it wouldn't be the end of the world like some people are acting. I don't know.
Right. That Nebraska fans still care.
Maybe it's a good thing that we podcasted tonight. I'm feeling better right now after talking to you.
In the moment afterwards, I didn't want to, but
I didn't want to at all.
I'm glad we did. So, Mike, I'm going to give you a score prediction here.
Okay.
Do you have one? Are you ready for me to go?
I do.
Okay. I've got 31-10.
Oh, okay. I have 31-24.
Man, how do we do that?
I don't know.
We are really consistent.
I came up with my prediction before you said a word. I'd hand on my heart.
No, I believe you. I don't doubt any shenanigans, or I doubt any shenanigans. Just to kind of put a bow on it, Nebraska in SP Plus dropped 11 spots overall to 47, and the offense dropped 11 spots overall to 53. The defense went up 7 spots to 31, and we are back down in the basement, the bottom of the basement at 126, down 6 spots. So four from ground level.
Oh boy, that's worse. That's worse than when we thought it was comical 2 years ago.
Yeah, who'd have thunk? We'd still be here. So I'll be honest that I did not watch the whole game.
It's okay.
Because I was doing market to market yesterday.
Yeah, how was that?
It was really fun. It was a beautiful day.
What was your team's theme this year?
We had a Guess Who theme.
Okay.
And so we had one of our runners made question mark shirts for all of us, and then she cut out squares that fit around our heads with like fishing line type thing to hold it on our head, and then it had Guess Who on top and our name on the bottom. And then we tried to dress up kind of distinctively, and then we had pictures of ourselves on the side of our van with this, so looking like us, of course. And you'd be amazed at how many people older than Generation X didn't know what Guess Who is.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have expected younger people to not know it, but older people to all know it.
Yeah, like our parents' generation, you'd have thought they're the ones who bought it for us.
Yeah. Yeah, but they also they bought it for us so that we could go play on our own and get out of their hair.
That might be true. Yeah, no, it was a beautiful day, and it was my first run was at 7:20 and it was 43 degrees, and my second run was maybe noon and it was 73 degrees.
Oh,
and that was kind of a rough one. I ran across the Platte River, and so there was very little shade, and I was feeling it. I was hot. But then my third run was back in the evening. It was into the upper 60s, and there was a breeze. Run down the Mopac Trail, crushed limestone. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. So, bunch of good friends. We missed you, Mike. Mm. And yeah, as I was getting into after the game started during my last run, and so I tweeted a picture of looking over somebody's shoulder at their phone.
That was great.
It's a lot less stressful to not watch a football game.
You're doing something else that requires all your attention and energy.
So then I was at the after game or the post race shindig, I guess they call it, and they had a bunch of TVs, and so
Sure.
popping into that of the game, and then getting back home, my folks were taking care of the kids, and finally sat down for the fourth quarter, and it was
You were
quite the quarter.
briefly elated and then deflated.
All over the place. Mom and Dad drove home after that was all over, and yeah, just sad times. But anyway, really good day. Really
I don't
good
know
day.
why you're bringing me back to the first time you or somebody in your basement threw the bad call brick at me. I thought it was a real brick. And so I flipped out, and I was like, because like I had seen it a million times. I'm like, that's funny. And then somebody threw it at me. I was like, what are you doing? Oh,
It's foam.
it's foam.
Hey, so how did Logan Smothers look? Because actually, by the time I got to my phone, he was in the game.
I honestly don't remember. He played very little.
He played one series.
Yeah, because like it was like time for him. Like Martinez, he stepped out, but then the very next play it was fourth down, so we punted it away. So like Smothers didn't even go in right away. So
Okay.
I don't remember how long Martinez was actually out. That's kind of a blur in my memory. But I remember there was like, oh great, this game's out the window, and then Martinez came back and you're like, oh hey, there's hope.
Yeah, Adrian had a good game.
Yeah. See, and that's oh man.
And that's the frustration is, I mean, he took a beating and played his heart on his sleeve, like played his guts out, and so many of the guys did. Real physical Big Ten game. And it's just, it's a deposit. Each hit is a deposit. And then to have the whole, like, all of the investment wiped away by putting it into AMC, and then
I really hope that the players just don't even go on social media during the season. I really hope, like, for their own mental health, just don't even listen to the idiots online. Just stay away from it all.
Yeah, maybe instead of AMC, I could have said they put it into Dogecoin.
Right.
And then China started regulating cryptocurrency, and it all crashed, and and the investment was lost. I felt really committed to that metaphor.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, we're not a financial advice podcast, everybody, so don't listen to me, especially as to where you should put your money. Certainly not Star Wars action figures.
Someone, there was all kinds of jokes last week about how many Husker fans were going to show up, and someone tweeted at us, doesn't look like there's many of them, less than 5,000. So maybe I'll just sit here for the rest of the night and count individual Huskers.
I don't care about how many thousands of Husker fans were there or not. I care about the giant sections that were completely empty in their stadium. That wouldn't happen in Nebraska.
Well, the seats would be sold at the least.
One last thing, everybody. As we do every week, we want to recommend Central Nebraska Buffalo for all of your lean, healthy, yummy meat needs. And all of your real estate questions answered and or guided in the right direction by Mr. Monte Rohde. If you want a home, if you're looking to buy one, if you're looking to move out of one, if you're not sure when and if and how to start that process, Monte's
It's
your
daunting.
guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Connect with Monte.
It's like at the beginning of Zelda, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this. And this is the guidance of Mr. Monte Rohde. He is your old man in the cave. He probably,
What?
I don't know. The old man in the cave who gives you the sword in Zelda?
Oh,
You don't remember video games from 34
I've never played
years
all
ago?
the way through any Zelda games.
They're okay. Actually, Breath of the Wild is objectively the best video game I've ever played.
Our caller Dan has a deep, deep love affair with Zelda.
Really?
Oh yeah. So I don't mean to besmirch your game, Dan. I just never got through one. I'm sure if I had, I would love them.
Now, listen to me saying that Zelda's the best game I ever played. And I'm even saying that like as a lifer when it comes to Monkey Island, dude. So
Which Zelda game?
Breath of the Wild, the most recent one.
Is that on the Switch?
Yeah, it is just an outstanding experience. Something unlike I've never played a game like it. It's so good.
How many hours did it take?
I think somewhere in the ballpark of 150.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Could you have done it faster, or was that what it took?
I mean,
Like you do
if
all
you
the side
wanted,
quests?
no, not even close.
Oh my goodness.
I wanted to get to a point where I felt like I had fully explored everything without me going down like a checklist of like I gotta find every little thing. Yeah.
Wow. What if I wanted to get the best Zelda experience in the least amount of time and without buying a system? How could I do that?
You can't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not
So
legally.
Oh, well, not okay.
I mean, there are plenty of solutions if you're not.
I mean, could I do it for $5?
You have
Legally?
to, as a baseline, have a Nintendo console to play a Nintendo game.
You don't have to. Aren't there like emulators? Are those not illegal?
They are illegal.
Oh.
I mean, the emulators themselves are not illegal, but to procure the games that the emulators run would not be legal.
Now, do you have one of those USB Nintendos that's got 150 games on it?
Oh yeah, I guess if you wanted, yeah. I mean, but again, that's like, but you're buying a Nintendo console if you buy like an NES Mini, you know?
Okay, but you're missing the point. Do you have one, and then could I borrow it?
Yeah, I could let you borrow one.
And that would be the original, or the second
it would
one?
be the first two Zelda games, yeah.
And are those, if I'm playing those, am I not experiencing it? I'm not having the amazing experience you just described.
No, not at all.
Well, it might just not happen.
You got to buy a Switch to play the game that I played.
This might not happen for me in my lifetime.
It's okay, Justin.
I'll just soak it up through you and then through Dan.
Sure. Well, much like Zelda's many side quests, our podcast often has its own twists and turns, especially at the very end of each episode. But ultimately, what we're trying to tell you, everybody, is buy some bison, and if you're going to buy a house, why not do it with Monte?
That's right. Now it's time for me to do the dishes.
And it's time for me to, oh my gosh, I got a week ahead of me, man. Got a lot of work to do.
All right. Well, hey, man, go Big Red.
All right, go Big Red.
The Husker Football Fan Podcast is an unofficial, non-commercial podcast and is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed on this podcast belong solely to the individuals expressing them. The Husker Football Fan Podcast is not endorsed by or affiliated with the Nebraska Cornhuskers or the University of Nebraska.